Before we start this episode, I just wanted to give a quick warning that this episode is going to contain one of the biggest spoilers in the entire game. So, if you were ever planning on playing and experiencing this game for yourself, and if you wanted to experience the game more naturally, I suggest you stop this video right now and purchase the game from Steam or whichever system you play games on. If you followed this series, you can see that the writing was very passionately well done, and it is something I highly recommend you experience for yourself. So, yes, consider yourselves warned. Now, on to the episode. Where is he? He's not in his shop. You, tell me where Theseus is. Now.
Oh my, I've never seen a lamp like that. Praise Apollo. A new face. Ave, and may Vestal watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Oh, the priestess. What's your story?
Oh my, I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal Priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Okay.
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather
Yeah,
more
that sounds
indirectly.
a bit
But to be
hassly.
honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Alright, that's better. How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river unconscious and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you.
Well, it's an older name, but not. It carries negative connotation. It's an older name, but not uncommon from
Old.
where I'm from.
I see. I wonder if... No,
What? What are you going to say?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should.
Yep, I
Go
did.
around and ask them what they remember, and see if you notice any patterns.
They all. I already did it. They all ran to the river and
Thank
blacked
you.
out, and they woke
But
up
please
here,
be careful.
or rather, they woke up on
I
the
just-
riverbed.
Don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
What happened to Livia?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
I may have already noticed the pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Some people mention a coin.
Yes, I suppose that could be something. But But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? What else?
Some people mentioned a river. Yeah.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
Some people mentioned memory lapses.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes?
Yeah? What of it?
I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
Was she? She was wearing a hoodie. Wait, how could you know that?
Because I've seen her before.
What?
There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Alright, I'll meet you in the baths.
Don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Alright. I'm good at this. I can be very, very subtle. Nothing to see here, everyone. Nothing to see. We're not together. I'm not going to the baths, and I'm not with her. We're not together. I'm good at being subtle. If anyone is baiting here, I'm sorry, I'm recording for YouTube. Better get out. Get out of the baths unless you want to be on my YouTube video.
Alright, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen.
Oh.
It was C-H-A-R-O.
Oh, what the hell?
Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon,
What?
who in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx.
You're kidding
It
me.
separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
No.
Sorry, my friend.
No, that's impossible.
I'm so sorry. I
What?
take it you know what this means.
We're all dead? This place is the underworld?
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense.
No.
Whose
No.
last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so
I have a lot of questions.
if I can.
I have a lot. So we're dead. Is that what you're saying?
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
What can you tell me about Karen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Why didn't you all recognize Karen immediately?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Why are there so few people in the underworld?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna accuse her. That's all the questions I had.
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Tell me more about escaping with the help of Proserpina or a guide. I think that seems to be the more safer option, I guess.
Both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas
That seems
was
to be the
guided
option
the
with
exit.
lesser chances
The
of
problem
casualties, is
those
what I
are
mean.
the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
So she might be willing to work against him to help us.
If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
I hear the female statues whispering to me every now and then.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now?
You wouldn't
Then
believe
again,
me if I told
I suppose you
you.
were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
It's always the same voice, and she's helpful, but a little cryptic.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
Perhaps she said, wade against the current, and her tears run through the city.
That is strange. There are no rivers here. Let me think on that.
I was really hoping you could tell me what it meant.
Well, as far as I can tell, water flows into the city from an aqueduct into one of two cisterns, the upper cistern. If that's the current she's talking about, then perhaps you need to get into the upper cistern somehow. I vaguely recall wondering what was in there, but the door at the back of the great temple is locked up tight. You might be able to get a key from the magistrate, but if that doesn't work, perhaps you can find another way in. Let me know if you find anything in there.
Okay, can't we just escape the way we came in?
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks
What?
to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
Oh. Okay, so I've noticed you seemed uncomfortable calling the god of the underworld by his name. Why is that?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your
Well, Mickey
own
Mouse
risk.
called his dog Pluto. Tell me more about confronting Pluto head on.
Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Hey. Oh, I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Well, Hercules couldn't manipulate time or turn
Oh, tell me
organic
that
matter into
you
gold.
can. I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
Oh, okay. What can you tell me about the obelisk?
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Okay. Where would I find the Roman plaque?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had
Decius?
the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Okay. Where would I find the Greek plaque?
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
Very simple enough. Where would I find the Egyptian plaque?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, will be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago.
Of course he did.
But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
Where would I find the mystery plaque?
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps the goddess will help guide you to it when the time is right.
Uh-huh. Okay, 4 plaques. Alright, I'm ready to get started. Let's do this.
I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
Okay, I'll have a chat with Livia first.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Okay. Damn it, Karen. Damn it, Karen. Where did she go? Where did she go? There she goes, sprinting away from me. We literally sprinted away. Do I have a weird smell or something, Equitia? I was hoping it was that one. That was one of the plaques. But no, of course it's not gonna be that easy. Okay. So first, let's talk to Livia, and then a lot of quests are pointing me to Aurelia. One of them is getting the wine for Claudia, and now this regarding the Egyptian plaque.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
I think Aurelia was the one who fooled Julia into getting a loan from Malleolus. I think this is Livia, yeah.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
Okay, I figured it out. I know where we are.
Say it. Speak its
We're
name.
in Disneyland. No, we're in the underworld.
Then it is true. I was right.
Yes, you were. Congratulations.
I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
Sure. Let's hear
I will
it.
do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. And still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice. And now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Alright, take it easy, Livia. Take it easy, Livia. We have a nice little pub going on here. Oh, is that... Okay, it's Horatius. I thought it was Theseus.
Is all weapons are to be tossed into the chasm. Magistrate's orders.
What did you say about my longbow?
Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before, a certain learning and sophistication.
Mm-hmm. And you're as charming as you're beautiful. Nope. Oh, stop it. No, please go on. Not interested. Don't waste your breath. I know you're a horrible person. Oh, stop it. Nah,
What
please
was
go
that?
on.
Some kind of joke? If it was, it wasn't funny. I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't find you so intriguing.
Well, you have a horrible
Let's
sense
just
of
forget
humor.
that ever happened, so we can at least do business. So, what brings you to my tavern?
I'm looking for Kabash. Have you seen him?
Not for a few weeks now. Last time I saw him, he was sitting at a table with Georgius, whispering about some job. I remember because they kept looking over their shoulders as if they didn't want anyone else to know. So, naturally, I hovered.
Of course you did.
The one word
Naturally.
I kept hearing was vanishing, and then, the next day, Kabash just disappeared. Coincidence? I think not.
What's your story?
Ugh, let it go. Nothing's going to
What?
happen between us.
I wasn't trying to flirt with you. What the hell? Do you know a way out of here?
You know, normally, I'd expect you to buy me a drink before asking if I want to
God
get
damn
out
it,
of
I
here.
wasn't trying to flirt with you, lady. That's cute, but seriously, do you know a way out?
Straight to business, huh? I can work with that. As a matter of fact, I
Oh, here
do
we
know
go.
a way out. I'm happy to tell you all about it, but this is valuable information we're talking about, and I don't just give it out like some cheap oracle. So, how badly do you want it? Is it worth, say, 1,000
Here
denarii?
we go again with 1,000 denarii. Let's play along. Isn't it kind of unethical to keep all these people trapped in here, knowing there's a way out?
I think of it this way. I have something of value, and I'm willing to share it for a price. That's not unethical. That's just good business. Now,
My god, you
want it or
and
not?
Theseus are meant for each other. You'd be a perfect match. If you have a way out, why haven't you used it yourself?
Simple. It's a one-way trip, and I'm not ready to go just yet. I like my life here. One day, maybe, but not now.
Tell me more about what I'd be buying.
Well, I can't tell you too much, or you'd figure it out for yourself. But I promise you, You'll never have to spend another hour in this city ever again.
Ha! Gotcha! I knew it was a scam all along, you fool.
Ha! It's hardly my fault if people misunderstand the terms of a deal. I mean, it does say, "Let the buyer beware," right outside my tavern.
Do you have any wine?
I do, but I'm afraid it's not for sale. It's the last jug in the entire city, so I'm saving it for a romantic occasion.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to flirt with her, aren't I? Oh no, how about we take the wine and head to the bats, just you and me. Wink wink.
Really? That's your move? Honey, I'll admit I was intrigued by you at first, but then you had to go and open your mouth. Unfortunately for you, nobody gets a second chance.
Oh,
at
that's
first
what you
impression.
think. That's what you think. We'll see about that.
What's that supposed to be? The riddle of the Sphinx?
Also, the cup you've been cleaning, it's already quite clean. It's been clean
just
for a
wanted to
while
think
now.
about
Can
it.
you move on
Drink
to a
helps
different
with
cup
that.
or something?
As the saying goes, to drink is human, so we drink.
Okay, give me some gossip.
Certainly. For 10 denarii.
Fine, here's 10 denarii.
Have you met Livia? She used to do my hair, until one day she just snapped. This place has that effect on people. Now she just stands around, caked in filth, muttering nonsense to herself. It's a real shame. Now I have to do my own hair. Whatever you like. All right, see ya.
Okay, somehow I'm gonna have to talk to Yulia and ask for her. Oh!
Some lamp.
Oh,
That's
is
right.
this who I think it is? It is.
Well,
Not bad.
isn't
It
that an
is.
impressive trinket?
This
Steal it
little
from the
bastard.
Oh,
Turn around, you little
hello there, partner. I'm glad you're here. I think there might have been some confusion about my little practical joker.
Oh,
You see,
practical
my
joke,
plan was to
huh?
give you a little fright.
Very, very
Like two
funny.
friends joking around at the
Oh,
Saturday
very
and
funny.
then, surprise! I'd open the door, but when I opened it, you were gone.
I don't believe you.
Partner, I swear, this is just a misunderstanding. Look, why don't you keep our bow as compensation?
Our bow. You mean my bow? Oh, I'm keeping it all
Fine.
right.
It's a credit to you that you're able to see the humour in all of this.
Oh, I see the
Now, can
humor
I
in it,
help you with
indeed.
something?
No. You know what,
Very well.
Decius?
Another time.
You know what I'm going to do right now? You want to know what happens when you try to screw with me? Huh? Think you're so funny, huh? You know what? Since you like gold so much, why don't I
Guessing
give
that
you some
Promethean
gold?
fire's not for sale.
No, it's not. Why don't I?
Imbecile!
Okay. Let me make a hard save. There we go. There we go.
All weapons are to be tossed into the chasm.
Like gold so
Magistrate's
much,
orders.
huh? Oh! I missed? Uh-oh. Oh, nothing happened. Oh, no.
Shall suffer.
It was worth it. It was worth it. It was so worth it. It was very worth it. Now, can I attack them? Can I? Okay, I can't. I can't. It was absolutely worth it. It was so worth it. Hurry up, Sentius. Yeah, can I attack these guys? Well, I can't. Fortunately, I can't. It was worth it, Sentius. It was so worth it. Okay guys, I'm ending the episode here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next week for episode 7. Take care of yourselves and have a nice day.